When it comes to sports in Lorain, your station to watch is TV 20, Lorain City Schools Television.
And welcome to another edition of Junior High Volleyball on WLCS TV 20. Alongside Joe Bach, I'm Rob Polinsky. 7th grade game will be Longfellow versus Southview. It is the Southview girls serving the Longfellow as each team wears identical uniforms. So we've gotten smart enough to be able to identify them by the team always plays in front of their head coach. So I've been able to figure that out. As I look at the scoreboard, I don't think it's 99-0, Joe. I might need your help today.
Oh, I think so, yeah.
Longfellow takes a 1-0 lead. We'll get you some names and numbers as soon as we can. That ball is out. It's 2-0. Longfellow with the lead here early on. And serving for the Longfellow 7th graders is Azariah Rector. Azariah Rector for the Ken Faria's 7th grade girls. They are 8-4 on the year. On the third hit, it's sent over by Natasha Johnson. Played to the Southview side. And the Southview 7th graders, that is Nevia Edwards hitting it in, makes it 2-1, so Southview gets on the board. And serving is Amari Romaro. Amari Romaro, underhand serve, gets it over the net, well played, that's an ace, and we're tied at 2. Game 1, early on. Tied at 2, Southview and Longfellow. Game 1 of the 7th grade volleyball. Tied at 2, and we'll have Amari Romaro serving. She serves it into the net, gives the point to Longfellow, and Longfellow leads 3-2. Again, you play 2 out of 3 games in middle school, and they go to 25. You must win by 2. Nair Chambers serving. She has an underhand serve that is wide, it's out, and we are tied at 3. A couple of service errors early on in this game.
Yeah, thanks for coming on again, Rob. I guess you're the de facto king of middle school volleyball.
You know, you're not the first person to say that, Joe.
Oh, who was that?
I'm teasing. The line drive into the net. Samantha Terrell hits it, and it's 4-3 Longfellow. No, my pleasure to be here. Appreciate you asking.
I know all the girls were excited. Oh, we're on TV. I'm like, yep.
Very good. We have Nevaeh White serving for Longfellow. To the back row. It is sent just into the net that time. Unable to play it over was Nevia Edwards. So that was Nevaeh White serving to Nevia Edwards. And they spell it the same, but they're pronounced a little differently. 5-3 Longfellow leads. And to add to the confusion, they both wear number 9s for their teams that have identical jerseys, Joe.
Oh, jeez.
Hitting it into the net that time will be Savannah Scott for Longfellow. And that gives the point to Southview. They trail 5-4. Southview, coached by Lindsay Wright. Her record 8-3 this year. And Coach Faria, his 7th graders from Longfellow are 8-4. Nice line drive serve.
Very nice.
That Destiny Lucenti sends over, and it's a point. We are tied at 5. Another good line drive serve. That one's going to be played by Chambers. Back to White, sent over. Dug out that time by Barnes. Sent back over to Longfellow. Then they'll send it right back over. And hitting it over for the point is Edwards for Southview. And Southview takes a 6-5 lead. And for Southview, that is their first lead early on here in game 1. Destiny with that serve. That goes into the net, not quite over. Needed to hit her Wheaties on that.
Yeah.
Little Wheaties in the morning will get those serves over, Joe. We're tied at 6.
But you did do a couple good jobs. You got a couple of them over. Nice line drive. Good form.
Yes.
It's good to see attempting the overhands at this level.
I agree. Natasha Johnson puts that into the net. That missed serve gives it right back to Southview, who leads 7-6. And another good line drive serve. This one coming over Kyra Rice, and it's played out of bounds. It's a point for Southview, and they lead 8-6. So Southview with their biggest lead in game 1, 2 points at 8-6, and it is Kyra Rice serving. Excellent line drive serve. There's an ace. 2 young ladies weren't sure which one was going to play it, whether it was going to be Rector or Chambers. Falls in between them. It's 9-6. Each team gets 2 timeouts per game. And hitting that into the stand and out of bounds is White.
Yeah, pretty much the same rules as JV and freshman level.
Yeah,
That's
I think
2 out of 3, played to 25.
It's only varsity that plays 3 out of 5. games, right?
And if it does go 5, once again, it's only to 15. So
same thing if it goes 3 at this level.
No,
so they all go to 25.
Yes.
It's been so long since I've seen a 3-game match, Joe, that I think everything this year has been 2 games for me.
Oh.
So I forgot that. There's a point for Longfellow. It's 10-8. Although early on in this one, this seems to be pretty evenly matched. I wouldn't be surprised if this one goes 3, although I know it's early to say that. But Savannah Scott serving for the 7th graders for Longfellow, and she'll hit that over the net
nice.
and inbounds. Boy, you couldn't place it any better if you threw it over there with Savannah Scott. It's the point for
And that was one of the changes when they changed the rally scoring. That used to be a let.
Yeah, you look at Savannah, she doesn't realize that they get the point. She thought she was going to go back to defense, but Savannah Scott gets that ace. You're right, it hit off the net, stayed in bounds. It used to be a let, now it's a point. That serve just gets over, and another ace for Savannah Scott. Tell you what, you cannot place it any better than what that young lady has done on consecutive serves. We're tied at 10.
Can't wait to see what the third one looks like here.
So Savannah with the underhand, right-handed serve. Takes her time. That one gets over quite a bit and sent back to Longfellow. On the second hit, it's bumped over and good by Nevaeh White. And Southview, or I should say Longfellow, leads 11-10 as they have scored 5 consecutive points. So far we have been tied at 2, at 5, at 6, and again at 10. As these 2 teams play very close game 1 in this 7th grade volleyball as we are at Southview Middle School today. That hit is out of bounds. That time for Southview hitting that out of bounds is Edwards, and it's 12-10. Rob Polinsky, Joe Bach with you for WLCS TV 20. And that sends it over into the net. Again, Savannah Scott doing a good job with her serves. 13-10, we get our first time out of game 1, and that's going to Southview as it's 7 consecutive points for the Longfellow 7th graders. They lead 13-10. As you see, both teams huddling with their coaches. Again, the Longfellow 7th graders are 8-4. The Southview 7th graders 8-3. Both teams with good records. Want to remind you that Lorain City Schools Television, WLCS TV 20. It's now 10:25 if you're watching on Spectrum Cable. If you're on YouTube, you check out the Lorain Schools TV 20 on YouTube. You can follow us on Twitter anytime. And that Twitter handle is @LCS_TV20. Check out Lorain Schools TV 20 on Facebook for all your entertainment and informational needs. And if you like Lorain Schools TV on Facebook, you get a chance to win some great prizes.
Yeah. Subscribe to us on YouTube. You'll get updates on all the programs there, and you can watch them on demand.
First, Savannah Scott, she'll hit that into the net. That'll end the run, and it's 13-11. And sometimes I think teams take that timeout, Joe, just to try to throw off the rhythm of a server.
Yeah, definitely a strategy.
Yeah, maybe that happened right there. I'm not sure. But it'll be Natalia Metzger serving. She gets it over the net, and it's played into the net. I'm going to say that one of the Longfellow young ladies was in the net area, and that is Azariah Rector. That gives the point to Southview, and it cuts the lead to 13-12. Again, serving is Emily Barnes. It's going to be dug out, and on the, miscommunication and unable to get it over is Savannah Scott. And it's 14-12. Emily Barnes with a high serve. That'll be played by Natalia Metzger, and that one is hit wide and out of bounds. Look out, coach. He almost took a tumble getting that one, Joe. 15-12. Longfellow leads by 3. Serving is Metzger. Played by Barnes, and on the second hit, she'll put it into the net. That'll be a point for Longfellow, and the Longfellow lead is 4 at 16-12. Going to be a set by Rector, sent back over to the Southview side. Hitting it over for Southview was Edwards, and that'll be a point for Southview. They cut into the lead, 16-13. Is Coach Lindsay Wright. She stands to coach her team there by the back row, and Coach Faria, he sits on the bench. So 2 different styles for the head coaches here, Joe. Overhand line drive serve by Edwards. And it's going to go off the top of the net. Point for Southview at 16-14. So Edwards, a couple more serves, able to tie this game 1 if she's able to do so. Again, the overhand serve. Her team down 2. Good line drive serve.
Nice, ace.
Yes, that Scott couldn't play. So it's 16-15. That Longfellow lead is down to 1. You can see the difference, Joe. Those line drive serves are so much harder to pass, to serve, receive than the underhand serve is. The hard thing is keeping them in bounds. And there, that one's easily in bounds. An ace. We're tied at 16. Metzger and Johnson were hoping that that was going to go long and out of bounds. It did not. We're tied at 16. And as hard as Edwards hits the ball on her serves, Joe, I think it was impressive there. See how fast it just dropped?
Yes.
Another good line drive serve that Savannah Scott's able to put back over. Edwards goes to get it.
Oh, that's
she hits it inbounds, gets the point. Nice job, Nevia Edwards. And Southview regains the lead at 17-16. 5 straight points for the Southview 7th graders to reclaim the lead. And right now, there's another ace, and Coach Faria might want to take a timeout. His team down 2. He's got both timeouts, maybe just to try to throw off the rhythm.
Yeah, I think if she gets a point here, he probably will.
Of Nevia Edwards, who is doing an outstanding job serving. Good line drive serve, played in the back row, sent over by Savannah Scott. She'll get it over, but it's out of bounds wide. 19-16. 7 straight points for Southview.
Yeah, he's holding his timeouts here.
Line drive, that goes into the net, missed serve, but what a job by Nevia Edwards as she serves 7 straight points for Longfellow.
Wow.
Or for Southview, I'm sorry, and Longfellow now trailing 19-17. And Rector will send it to the back row, and there's a point for Longfellow, makes it 19-18. Unable to play that in the back row was Kyra Rice off the serve of Azariah Rector. Rector, another good serve that Rice sends over, but sends it over wide, and we're tied at 19.
Yeah, I think you're right, Rob. Pretty evenly matched. It's going to go down to the wire.
It would appear to be so. So we'll see what Rector can do. Again, you play to 25, and right now we are tied at 19. Rice bumps it over, but that's going to be wide and out. Point for Longfellow. Longfellow's lead is 20-19. Rector with the serve, right back to Rice. Rice hits it over, but I should say she passes it ahead, but it goes off the net. Point for Longfellow, 21-19. She's either got to get it over, Joe, or pass it to a teammate, one or the other. That was kind of in between, went into the net.
Right, very difficult.
Play. Right. Edwards from the back row sends it over to the Longfellow side. There's a set, and unable to put it over the net was Johnson off the set from White. And it's 21-20 as that point goes to Southview. They trail by 1, an opportunity to tie right here as Amari Romaro will serve for the tie. Lucent sends it back over to Longfellow. There's a set, and from the back row, Savannah Scott sends it back over. A couple of the young ladies collide, and that point will go to Longfellow. They lead 22-20. Coach Wright giving instructions to her young ladies. And serving is Nair Chambers. Chambers with the serve, and it goes to Nevia Edwards. That's a point for Longfellow. They lead 23-20, so Longfellow now 2 points away from game 1. Line drive, miscommunication, ace, game point. 24-20.
And timeout, Southview.
They take their second and final timeout of game 1. Longfellow a point away from a 1-0 lead. Here as we are early on in 7th grade girls volleyball. And Joe, if I'm not mistaken, I think today's action will be our third and last games of the middle school.
It will be.
Season. So we got a chance to see each, after today, we'll have seen each 7th and 8th grade team twice, being Longfellow and Southview, who we're watching today. And, of course, previous days we had General Johnny Wilson. So hope the fans and the families have been able to watch them and enjoy it. As again, one of the highlights we always talk about, Joe, is in the next couple of years we'll see these young ladies playing for the Titans.
Yeah, it's always cool to see the girls come up, and the guys too, in different sports. You know, boy, especially when they on the varsity, it's like, gee, I remember when they were in 7th and 8th grade.
Yeah, and what I like too is a lot of times we'll see the head coaches for the respective sports coming here to watch. As we have that serve, and went out of bounds. Longfellow gets the point and the game at 25-20, and I think they're going to redo that. We had a buzzer sound, and I think we're going to replay this point, Joe. So hang on, it's still 24-20.
Who's on the scoreboard there?
Right.
Oh, that would be Beth Hilco.
Chambers. That was Joe Bach, not me, Beth. But I'll make fun of you too, but just I didn't right there. Set back over. Southview trying to keep the game alive, and they're not going to be able to. It doesn't go over the net, and now the point, and the game does go to Longfellow, 25-20. So game one goes to Longfellow, 25-20. And we'll see if Jan Hilco can do a better job in game two with keeping the buzzer from going off.
It'll be Beth.
Beth, Jan, same thing.
Okay.
We'll be back with game two right after this timeout. You're watching 7th grade girls volleyball on WLCS TV 20, home of Lorain City Schools Television.
Hi, my name is Lindsay Williams. I'm 16 years old and in 11th grade at Lorain High School. I'm studying sports health and fitness through Lorain High's Career Tech Education program. I've been playing sports since the 7th grade, volleyball to be specific. I know I can't play forever, but I can still be part of it if I become a physical therapist or athletic trainer. The sports health and fitness classes at Lorain High are giving me an idea of what I'd be doing in the field. I tell all the athletes to take Dury's sports health and fitness class because he knows what he's talking about. He's an athletic trainer. I'm learning how to prevent injuries by doing stuff like taping. That's why I'm also interested in physical therapy. Physical therapy helps get people back to playing. I've learned that the rehab part of physical therapy is more structured and that as an athletic trainer, I would always be at games and practices. I know what I want to do, and it's all thanks to Lorain High Sports Health and Fitness Career Tech program.
I was the first woman ever to deploy on a Strategic Air Command deployment.
You didn't just serve your country.
I lobbied for women to be on board submarines.
You paved the way for others.
I joined the Army because I wanted a challenge.
And the challenges you face now? Your VA delivers a variety of benefits. Learn more, including how to apply online using e-benefits.
No matter what time it is, you've earned them. Apply today.
Game two underway as Longfellow will serve to Southview after winning game one by a score of 25-20. And the first game of game two goes to Southview, so they take a 1-0 lead. In game one, Longfellow won at 25-20. We had ties at 2, 3, 5, 6, 10, 16, and 19. And after it was 19-19, Longfellow went on a 6-1 run to win game one. Rector sends it to ahead to her teammate White, who sends it over. That shot is out of bounds long.
That was in.
Was it?
I think it was, yep.
And you're right, it is ruled in, so it's 2-0. Southview with the lead. And serving for the Southview 7th graders is Nevia Edwards. The team out in front 2-0. Overhand serve. Nevia did a great job serving in game one. Continues right there. Metzger unable to play it. 3-0 Southview as they need this game to send us to a third and deciding game as they take an early 3-0 lead after losing 25-20 in game one. Again, Edwards with a good serve that Scott passes ahead, but unable to run that down for Longfellow was Chambers, and it's 4-0. The first lead for Southview in game one was 6-5, and the last time they led was 19-18. They had a 19-16 lead, and from that point on, Joe, it was a 9-1 run for Longfellow to end the game. And now Southview with a nice start in game two. They have a 5-0 lead. And again, it is Edwards with those good overhand serves. That is going to be set and at the net, sent over by White, and the return is out of bounds. So that ends the run, and it's 5-1. And serving now for the 7th graders in Longfellow is Nair Chambers. Chambers sends it to about the middle of the court for Southview. Played ahead. Lucent sends it back to the Longfellow side, and unable to pass that ahead was Rector. Point goes to Southview. They lead 6-1. Lucent with an overhand line drive serve. Rector sends it back over to the Southview 7th graders. Scott will play it into the net, and that point goes to Southview, and all of a sudden, Southview with a 7-1 lead, and Coach Faria wants a timeout early on in game 1 as the momentum of game 2 is going to Southview. They have a 7-1 lead. Both teams gathering around their coaches for their huddle. And again, Longfellow on the left with Coach Faria and Coach Lindsay Wright on the right side of the court with her 7th graders from Southview. And don't forget, we'll have the 8th grade game coming up, as it'll be Coach Mullins and the Longfellow 8th graders, and Coach Miriam Engel and the 8th graders from Southview.
Yeah, if you're watching on Spectrum Cable, it'll be up immediately following. And if you're watching on YouTube, go to our playlist and load which game you want to watch.
Miss serve following the timeout. Point for Longfellow makes it 8-2. Whatever Joe just said, just do what he tells you, because he knows all that stuff. Hitting it into the net is Edwards. Point for Longfellow. They trail 7-3. So it's 8-3. They gave him a point. So 8-3. Trying to cut into that lead is Nevaeh White. White with a line drive serve. That's an ace. 8-4. Longfellow has cut the lead to 4 points. It's Nevaeh White, wears number 9 on her jersey for Longfellow. That serve is the yell out, and it is just wide. Nice job by the young ladies from Southview. Samantha Terrell, Emily Barnes watched it go wide, and it's 9-4 Southview. Substitution coming in for the Southview 7th graders, Amari Romaro. Longfellow will play it ahead. Natasha Johnson, it goes into the net. And we're going to give the point to Longfellow. They cut the lead to 9-5. Johnson, good deep serve. Played by Edwards. Sent ahead by Samantha Terrell. Terrell, middle of the court. And it just gets over the net, sent. And we have some Scott.
Somebody was in the net.
Yep. For Southview, or for Longfellow into the net, that point will go to Southview, makes it 10-5. That serve just off the top of the net by Kyra Rice. Point to Longfellow, it's 10-6 off the missed serve. Serving now will be Savannah Scott for Longfellow. Savannah in that first game, Joe, if you remember, I believe it was 7 consecutive points she served.
Yeah, she was on a roll.
That one just over the net. That's what she likes to do, just get it over the net in front of the defenders. That ace makes it 10-7. Coach Wright telling her girls to sneak up a little bit. Scott will send it over. That one's going to be played right back. In the net, we're going to have in the net, Nevaeh Edwards. It's 10-8. Savannah Scott to serve. Gets it over. Sent over by Samantha Terrell to the back row. Playing that is White. And hitting it into the net was Chambers. Point goes to Southview. They lead 11-8. So Samantha Terrell to serve, her team up 11-8. Overhand serve, well played, and that is going to be a point for Southview. It makes it 12-8.
Yeah, nice serve there, Rob.
It was. Terrell goes back. She'll serve again with her team up by 4. It's a good deep serve, and hitting it out of bounds was White. 13-8. That was very close to, I think White was deciding, do I let that fall? And couldn't decide if it was going to stay in bounds or not. Last minute decided to play it. And Terrell and Southview gets the point. That one will be well out of bounds into the bench. It's 13-9. That would be like if you or I served, Joe. That's where they would probably go. Natalia Metzger, underhand serve, gets it over. And it's played over by Edwards, and the point for Southview makes it 14-9. So Southview trying to send us to a third and deciding game. Down 1-0. They lead 14-9. And putting it over but out of bounds that time for the Southview 7th graders is Kyra Rice. 14-10. Longfellow serving down 4, and it will be serving Azariah Rector. Substitution coming in, Madeline Tobakash. So Madeline Tobakash comes in for the 7th graders from Longfellow. That one sent over, and unable to run it down was White after Chambers tried to pass it. 15-10. Southview's lead is 5. And Tobakash, that fell between Tobakash and Metzger. I think both thought the other one would hit it. 16-10. Good deep serve, and that one's going to be in. 17-10. I think the back row again thought that was going long and out. It did not. And it's 17-10. Southview leading Longfellow. 7th grade girls volleyball today on WLCS TV 20. Passed ahead by Metzger. She'll get it back and hit it over. Edwards plays it to the front row, and into the net was Lucent. So the point goes to Longfellow. They trail 17-11, and Joe down 17-11. They need to, they're going to mount a comeback. It needs to begin quickly, and it'll be Chambers serving. Chambers sends it to Edwards. She'll play it right back over. And Lucent hits it back over. Got a nice rally here. Again, the battle at the net and hitting it over the net. It fell, was Rector, falling on the Southview side of the court. Longfellow cuts the lead to 17-12. And Barnes hits it, going over to get it, but won't be able to get it over on the third hit of the Southview girls, but they did a nice job of trying to, good effort there by Barnes and Terrell to try to help their team out there, Joe. It's 17-13.
Yeah, they put the ball into play where it could have been returned, but wasn't.
Chambers to Edwards, played ahead, Tobakash. She'll hit it into the bench, and that point will go to Southview. They lead 18-13. Sometimes it's as simple as just getting your serves in and putting pressure on that other team at this level, Joe. You hit it into the net or wide, you don't give your team a chance, as we see right there. And it's 18-14. The Southview lead is 4, and serving now is Nevaeh White. Her team trails 18-14. Nevaeh sends it over. Terrell plays it back over. Nice job of hitting that to the back row by Rector. And that one's hit wide and out of bounds. The point will go to Longfellow. They cut the lead to 18-15. So Longfellow trying to get back into game 2, get a 2-game sweep. They trail 18-15, but they won the first game 25-20. And Lucent can't pass that forward, and it's 18-16. Timeout on the floor for the Southview 7th graders. Their lead, but it's now a very close game. just 18-16. So Coach Lindsay Wright talking with her team. They're down 1-0. They have to win this second game if we're going to have a third and deciding game.
Yeah, very tenuous lead at this point. They were up, what, 18? They were up by...
They were up quite a bit. It was 17-10.
17-10, right.
So a 7-point lead, and now it's a 6-1 run for Longfellow to cut a 17-10 deficit to 18-16, Joe. So it was a 5-0 lead for Southview right away. So we haven't had any ties or lead changes in this game. Southview took a 5-0 lead and led 7-1 when Longfellow took their first time out. And they have been coming back and chipping away, battling back ever since. They've cut it as close to 2 on 2 occasions at 10-8 and right now at 18-16. Serve, Lucent hits it, and that'll be played into the net. So that point goes to Longfellow, and this is as close as they've been since the game started. They trail 18-17. And it's White. White serves it, deep serve, and that should be in. It is right on the line. We're tied at 18, beautifully placed. So we are tied at 18, as that was a fantastic serve by White. And the substitution going to the back row is Amare Romaro for Southview. Remember, in game 1, we were tied at 19, and Longfellow went on a 6-0 run to win it. And there's a point for Longfellow. They take their first lead of game 2, and it comes at 19-18.
Come all the way back.
And again, serving is Nevaeh White. Nevaeh White, good deep serve. And miscommunication, Edwards passed it ahead, but it fell between Romaro and Terrell, and it's 20-18 Longfellow. Lucent hits it out of play, out of bounds. It's 21-18 Longfellow. The Longfellow 7th graders now 4 points away from this 2-game sweep. And it was 18-13, so this is an 8-0 run for Longfellow. Now going to serve it overhand. And they're getting the overhand serve to go over, but then putting it into the net is White. So White with a 3-point lead says, I'm going to try an overhand serve. And to Southview's credit, Joe, they were able to play it. They get the point. 21-19, and now serving will be Nevaeh Edwards, and we've seen what a good job she can do. She'll serve it underhand with her team only trailing by 2. And hitting that out of bounds is Terrell. Point to Southview. It's 22-19. Substitution for Longfellow. 7th graders coming in to serve is going to be Ariana Matthews. 22-19 Longfellow. Ariana Matthews serving, her team up by 3. Serving that into the net is Matthews. Point goes to Southview. It's 22-20 Longfellow. Now serving is Kyra Rice for Southview, her team down by 2. Serves it over, played back. Edwards will hit it over the net. And for Southview, for Longfellow, they put it into the net, and Southview's within 1 at 22-21. And Joe, I think you can see the pressure mounting on the serving as we get late in game 2 here of this tight match.
Oh, absolutely.
Their serve goes into the stand. It's 23-21 Longfellow. 2-point lead.
Got to win by 2.
Yep, it'll be Madeline Tobakash serving for Longfellow 7th graders. They lead 23-21. Tobakash sends it over. Edwards will play it. Rector sends it back over to Edwards. She'll play it in front of Tobakash. Point for Southview, and they trail 23-22. And now it'll be Samantha Terrell serving to try to tie it for her team. Substitution for Longfellow coming back into the match will be Natasha Johnson. She'll go to the middle of the back row. Terrell serves it, and that is going to be
in,
and we are tied at 23, an ace right on the back line.
That's like the 4th point that they've let drop in the back there.
So now we're tied at 23, and Terrell serving for Southview to try to take the lead. Played ahead, into the net. Game point for Southview, 24-23. Terrell, line drive serve. Rector puts it into the bench, and we're going to a third game. Joe, I told you early on in game one, I could feel it. Southview comes back. They win game two, 25-23. We'll be back with the third and deciding game after this timeout. You're watching 7th grade girls volleyball on WLCS TV 20, home of Lorain City Schools Television.
The Warriors to Work program makes it possible for wounded warriors and their families to build new lives together.
When my dad left, I was like this big, but now I'm like this big.
My dad got a master's degree in human resources.
Thanks to Warriors to Work that my dad has a terrific job.
The Wounded Warrior Project helps him by, giving him another start.
Now that my dad's home, I get a lot more hugs.
I'm really proud of him.
Find out more about Wounded Warrior Project at findwwp.org. Welcome home, the brave.
Can I go to the sleepover?
Lucy, I want you to promise me something. If there's any drinking, I want you to say, no thanks, not my thing.
Mom.
I promise you, your real friends won't care. Deal?
I promise, Mom.
They really do hear you.
Did you pack your toothbrush?
For tips on how to start the talk, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. A public service message from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration.
Every year, the Salvation Army serves nearly 30 million people in need. That's one person every second. So by the time you've finished watching this, 30 more lives will have been changed for good. All thanks to your donations.
Thank you.
Third and deciding game as it'll be Longfellow serving to Southview, and they take the 1-0 lead off the serve from Rector. We switched sides between game 1 and 2, but did not between 2 and 3 because they just want to confuse me a little bit more, Joe.
I think they do.
Rector with her team leading 1-0. Sends it over, and it'll be played to the middle of the front row, and unable to pass that ahead was White. We're tied at 1 in this third and deciding game. So game 1, to recap, went to Longfellow 25-20, and Southview won an exciting and well-played second game, 25-23, where each team had a chance to win the game. And going into the net, unable to stop her momentum is Chambers. Southview takes the 2-1 lead. And sometimes, Joe, with middle school, you just kind of, that body control, and she couldn't stay out of the net area. And I think when they get older, it's more experience, it gets a little bit easier to do.
Right.
Edwards with another good line drive serve. Her team leads 3-1. She served Southview to that early 5-0 lead in game 2, which I think ultimately being up 5-0 and 7-1 gave them the momentum they needed. Another line drive serve. Southview leads 4-1. So Southview trying to come back after they lost game 1 and trying to win this in 3 games if they can. Edwards line drive serve, and that one will be
very nice
out
serve.
Of bounds by Metzger. It's 5-1, and an early timeout for Coach Faria.
Yeah, it's been the last 10 days. It's been middle school. We covered a lot yesterday. Jay Ferguson and myself were in the field outside the school here, and Southview didn't play at George Daniel later in the season, so we want to give some coverage. So I'm there with a ladder, the tallest tripod we had, and I got Jay one of the chairs out of the cafeteria, the real tall ones, and we did yesterday's game, which
awesome.
was won by Southview over Longfellow.
Awesome. 5-1. It's going to be passed ahead, and for Longfellow on the third hit, they're able
nice.
to put it over and get the point. Boy, beautifully done by White over there in the corner.
Absolutely.
And it's 5-2. And going back to serve is Nair Chambers. Chambers, her team down 5-2, sends it over. And from the middle of the front row, or middle of the court, I should say, Terrell sends it back over to the Longfellow side and has played well again that time. And getting the point is Natasha Johnson for Longfellow. It's 5-3. Southview's lead is 2. Edwards dives to get it, and well done. Rector will send it back over to the Southview side. Terrell sends it back over to Longfellow, and unable to pass that ahead was White. Southview gets the point and a 6-3 lead. And Lucent will serve. Destiny Lucent, overhand serve, just over the net.
Wow.
Point for Southview, makes it 7-3.
That was virtually unreturnable.
Lucent hits that one wide as diving for it, unable to play it ahead was Metzger. It's 8-3. Lucent and her team up 8-3. High, long serve. Rector from the back row. Ahead to Savannah Scott. Scott plays it over, and the point for Longfellow. They cut the deficit to 8-4. Serving is Nevaeh White. And that point will go to Southview, and they lead 9-4. Substitution coming into the game for the Southview 7th graders, Amari Romaro. So Romero into the game. Nice job by Rector getting that over to the Southview side. Edwards will send it back over, and a point. Boy, nice job.
Very nice.
By Nevaeh Edwards. Gives her team a 10-4 lead. Joe, I know you said this game's going to 25 points. I'm going to disagree with you and think this is a 15-point third game.
I think so.
And we'll
okay.
see who's right.
Okay, well, it could be.
I don't know.
Just a guess on my part.
And it was. I think it's 15, and Edwards hits that into the net, makes it 10-5. The other reason I think it is, Longfellow took that early timeout when it was just 5-1, and that tells me that maybe this game goes to 15 because of that early timeout. Ace for Longfellow. They cut the lead to 10-6. It's Natasha Johnson serving. It's my bad. I should have asked. I should know that.
Oh, no,
by
it's
now. So we'll see what happens. Edwards plays it ahead. That one will go off the beam. Edwards slides to try to save it. She was able to get to it, but couldn't get it over the net. But a great effort by Nevaeh Edwards. You have to enjoy her energy and the enthusiasm that she plays with. Never gives up on a point, Joe. Rector will send it over to the Southview side. Terrell. Edwards runs up to play that. And it's hit into the net. Point for Southview. They lead 11-7. Serving is Kyra Rice. Line drive serve. Rector gets it to White. Sent into the net. Point for Southview. They lead 12-7. Kyra Rice back to serve. Line drive, gets over, Rector hits it, and that one's going to be just wide out of bounds. Edwards tried to get there.
Good thing she didn't.
Yeah, she was trying. She's laughing because she knows she would have played it. She fell down, couldn't play it. It went out of bounds. 13-7.
That should be an indication. It was out. Don't play it.
So it'll be Kyra Rice serving with her team up 13-7. Substitution coming in. Ariana Rodriguez into the middle of the front row for Longfellow. And that one goes wide over the net, but wide out of bounds. Point to Longfellow. They trail 13-8. And serving will be Savannah Scott. Again, don't forget the 8th grade game coming up after this. Scott, underhand serve. Terrell plays it. Back row, and it's a point. It's 14-8.
All right.
We're going to find out pretty soon here, Joe.
Yeah.
I say 15, you say 25. Terrell just over the net, and that is a point for Southview. And Joe Bach, you win a sarsaparilla from me.
Oh,
for
right.
That bet.
I like sarsaparilla.
There you go. 15-8. Terrell serves it wide, out of bounds, 15-9. I should have known a long time ago. Never doubt Joe Bach. So this indeed will go to 25, and it'll be Ariana Rodriguez serving for Longfellow as they trail 15-9 in our third and deciding game. Line drive serve, and that is just out. Rodriguez played it very close, but Southview wisely let it go out of bounds at 16-9. And then serving is Amari Romero. Romero sends it over in front of Savannah Scott behind Nair Chambers. Point makes it 17-9. Again, Amari Romero serving, and that one will be low and into the net. Point for Southview, or I should say point for Longfellow, but Joe Longfellow has a long way to go. They trail 17-10 to try to get back into this match, as it'll be Rector doing the serving, and there's the first point, an ace, 17-11.
Well, they've been full of runs here tonight, so maybe they can put one together here in game 3. We'll see.
We shall see. Rector again. That one is going to be played ahead by Chambers. And running it down is Terrell. Sent over by Edwards. Scott will hit it out of bounds. Point for Southview. It's 18-11. Edwards, line drive serve. And it'll be displaced over the net, but running into the net trying to do that, thank you, Joe, was Nevaeh White for Longfellow, and that makes it 19-11. So Southview leads 19-11. Edwards, good line drive serve. Rodriguez goes to a knee to get it. Passing it ahead was Savannah Scott, but they can't get it over the net on the third hit, and that gives Southview a commanding 20-11 lead here in the third and deciding game. We're tied at a game apiece. 7th grade girls volleyball today on WLCS TV 20. Rodriguez sends it back over to the Southview side. Well done. Again, she sends it back to the Southview side. Terrell for Southview, right back to Longfellow. Rodriguez plays it ahead. Lucent sends it over. Good rally here. Lucent had it from Scott, and that goes out of bounds. Point to Longfellow. Nice rally, and Southview leads 20-12 as Longfellow will get that point. Nair Chambers serving. Her team trails 20-12. Sent over Lucent. Line drive right back over. Point for Southview. It's 21-12. So Southview 4 points away from winning this match 2-1 and coming from behind after they trailed 1-0. Lucent line drive serve. The set is mishit on that serve by Johnson. Point for Southview. It's 22-12. Lucent will not get that over the net. Point for Longfellow. It's 22-13. Southview lead still a big one at 9 points. And serving is Nevaeh White. White sends it over, and unable to pass that ahead was Amari Romero, and it's 22-14.
Of course, these teams could meet again in the LEL middle school playoffs.
Okay. Later this month, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Later on in October. White, line drive serve. That one will be put into the net. Point for Southview. They lead 23-14. Most schools, well, you might not know this, most schools in the LEL play like, multiple schools in one community like Lorain does, or is it like one team for Bedford, one for Maple Heights? You have any idea?
There's a mix.
Okay. And Longfellow will get that point, and they cut the lead to 23-15.
Yeah, Maple has 2. I think Bedford.
So it's a pretty big tournament then, a lot of teams.
Oh, yeah.
Line drive serve will go wide out of bounds from Natasha Johnson, and we're at match point at 24-15.
Now they're giving it to...
Okay, thank you.
Because I'm not sure what it was, but...
23-16, that one is hit long out of bounds.
Yeah, Longfellow's just hanging around.
They are, 23-17. I apologize, my bad on the previous point, so it's 23-17. As Natasha Johnson serves, but she can't get it over the net. And now we're at match point at 24-17. Serving will be Kyra Rice. For the match, Kyra Rice gets it over. Rodriguez goes down to get it, hits it into the bench. And congratulations, Southview. They come back and win it in 3 games. So the Southview over Longfellow, game 1. Longfellow won 25-20. Game 2, Southview wins 25-23. And in game 3, they win it by a score of 25-17. That's going to do it for our coverage of 7th grade girls volleyball today. If you're watching on WLCS TV 20, Lorain City Schools Television, 1025 on Spectrum Cable, it'll be 8th grade volleyball. And if you're watching on the YouTube station, Joe, how do they do that?
Yeah, go to the playlist and you just basically load the 8th grade game up.
What Joe just told you. So again, in 3 games, Southview defeats Longfellow in 7th grade girls volleyball. For Joe Bach, this is Ron Polinsky saying, have a good night, everybody.
This has been a production of Lorain City Schools TV 20 WLCS.